Okay, so for today's activity, we're going to be looking at making our newspapers some more. So to start with, as it's one of the most important parts of the newspaper, we're going to take a look at the headline and subtitle shortly. But first of all, we're going to do a quick bit on active and passive voice. So for each of these, I want you to have a go identifying whether it is using the active or passive voice, and then change it into the other one. Send me back your examples, because as I said last time, using the active and passive voice is how newspapers communicate. Okay, if you were ever to pick up a newspaper or read a newspaper article online that is a news piece, they are full of examples of active and passive voice. This is the first one that I would like you to have a go at changing. So in 2009, a member of the Taliban stormed Malala's school bus. Girls were banned from attending school by the Taliban. For her work campaigning for gender equality, Malala received the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know why these are doing it twice. So, the extra bit of grammar revision is to identify and use fronted adverbials to aid cohesion. So firstly, adverbials are words or phrases that are used to modify a verb or clause. Adverbials may be adverbs, preposition, phrases, or subordinate clauses. Adverbials can be used to create cohesion within and across paragraphs. So this is what it means when we talk about linking paragraphs together. So I'm going to spend a bit of time on this so you have time to come back and pause it if you need it, or to make notes from this, but this is full of adverbials adverbials that can be used to make an adverbial phrase. Okay, so the main thing you need to know from this is that adverbials for cohesion can cover time, place, the number or frequency, exception, cause and effect, contrast or comparison, clarification, or emphasis or addition. Okay? So, newspaper reports. If we focus on this table on the left of the screen, so the structure that we're looking at first is the headline, okay? So the headline has adverbials in it normally, which is why we're doing them today. Okay, when it says adverbials tell, that's basically because it's telling the reader what to expect in this piece. The front-loaded and first short paragraph, both of those together need to convince the reader to read on. That's why in front-loaded it says dramatic sell. You're selling the article to the reader. You're convincing them to read it. So on the right, because today you need to be telling and selling your article, is a lot of vocabulary that will help you do so. Okay, so if you wanted, for example, to just tell somebody that there was a casualty, you could use the word casualty. But if you wanted to sell it to somebody, then think about using the word suffered or words to that effect, because it's much more emotional. So, structure of a newspaper report. Headline and byline, or subtitle, is what we're doing today. So it's at the very top of the triangle, or bottom, I suppose, and you're trying to convince the reader to continue through with the article. So you need to hook the reader in, convincing them that this newspaper report is what they need to read to get the correct information. And it will actually be interesting as well. So it's no point just copying and pasting a Wikipedia article, because a lot of the time, unless you're very interested in the subject, you're not going to be that interested in reading the article fully. So, headlines. So, always front-loaded, or tend to be always front-loaded. They have a bit of the backstory. The headline needs to hook and be dramatic. Subheadlines. So if you focus on those four first of all. We've already spoke about the language that is expected. Have a go at using dramatic verbs. And you may want to include some facts and evidence, or even some quotes in this first part. To keep it dramatic, to keep it as a sell, perhaps you don't want to include too much evidence and facts, otherwise you may bore the reader off. Instead, if you focus instead on dramatic words, trying to sell the article. So, what are headlines? Headlines are found in different forms. In print newspapers, on radio, and TV news, and on internet news sites. So, they are the main title of the news stories. So originally you would be comparing and discussing it. So newspaper headlines need to be eye-catching, a title for the news story, but also short and snappy. So have a go at changing each of these into a better headline. Okay, one that is eye-catching, that is short and snappy, but still fits with the title for the news story. As always, send me back your answers. So I will be sending this to you. Have a go at changing some of these to a better, catchier way of writing these headlines. Send them back to me as well. So if this was my headline, yours can be whatever you've researched about Malala, but Malala arrives at Special Gunshot Unit in British Hospital. Quickly think about what the purpose and audience of this headline would be. Who is it aimed for? What's the purpose? What we're trying to achieve with a headline like that?